Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Poetry is a form of art, separating the beauty of language, sound, and rhythm. It is a reflection of the human soul, a tool for communication, and the source of beauty and inspiration. Today, let's listen to one of the most unique poems in history. While listening, please consider this. Is the message optimistic or pessimistic?
The Lost Generation by Jonathan Reed. I am part of a lost generation, and I refuse to believe that I can change the world. I realize this may be a shock, but happiness comes from within is a lie, and money will make me happy. So in 30 years, I will tell my children they are not the most important thing in my life. My employer will know that I have my priorities straight because work is more important than family. I tell you this, once upon a time, families stayed together, but this will not be true in my era. This is a quick-fix society, experts tell me. 30 years from now, I will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of my divorce. I do not concede that I will live in a country of my own making. In the future, environmental destruction will be the norm. No longer can it be said that my peers and I care about this earth. It will be evident that my generation is apathetic and lethargic. It is foolish to presume that there is hope. And all of this will come true, unless we reverse it.
The overall tone of the poem is indeed pessimistic, evident in phrases like, I refuse to believe that I can change the world. Happiness comes within is a lie. I do not concede that I will live in a country of my own making. And it is foolish to presume that there is hope. However, the apparent pessimism isn't the unique feature of this poem. What really sets it apart is the very last line, and all of this could come true unless we reverse it. What's it telling us to do? Literally, it encourages us to think about how to change the current pessimistic situation back to when things were better. However, it could also be telling us to reread the poem from the bottom up. By doing so, the situation described in the poem is completely reversed. It goes like this.
There is hope. It is foolish to presume that my generation is apathetic and lethargic. It will be evident that my peers and I care about this earth.
And so on. Do you notice the shift in the tone? Is it pessimistic or optimistic now? You see, the poet doesn't directly tell us readers to read his work upside down. We must use logical thinking to infer what the speaker is trying to say. This isn't only true for poetry, but for everyday communication as well. Sometimes the information you need for a listening task is implied, rather than stated directly. For example, if somebody says, I wish I was back home, it implies they are not happy with the current situation. Let's practice this strategy. Please listen to 4 short extracts and choose the correct indication.
Speaker 1.
I went to the gym last week. It was the first time in years. I tried lifting some weights and could only manage about 120 kilos. I know that would be a lot for most people, but for me, well, I was really surprised how little I can lift now.
The correct indication is B. The speaker says he was really surprised how little he can lift now. This implies that he was able to lift more in the past, be much stronger.
Speaker 2.
I went to see Robbie Williams in concert last weekend, again. It was in Manchester. He played some of his old songs and some of the songs from his new album. It was okay, but even I had to admit that he wasn't brilliant. Maybe he wasn't feeling good.
The correct implication is A. The speaker says she went to see Robbie Williams again, implying that she had already been to his show before. She even knows about his old songs as well as the songs for his new album. These details prove that she is a big fan of the singer.
Speaker 3.
I went out for a meal with some friends last weekend. We had Thai food because they wanted to try something different, and for once I agreed. And you know, it wasn't too bad. A bit hot and spicy for me, but very tasty. I actually enjoyed it. I might try Indian sometime. Perhaps.
The correct implication is B. When his friend invited him to try Thai food, he agreed for once. This implies that he had already tried foreign food before, which is later supported by his reluctance to try Indian food.
Speaker 4.
My sister called round and gave me my birthday present. It was a jumper, which was a surprise. She doesn't usually buy me clothes. It's quite a colourful jumper. Red, blue and orange. Unusual. Well, anyway, it was very kind of her to buy it for me.
B is not a correct implication. He says his sister doesn't usually buy him clothes. He doesn't say his sister doesn't usually buy him a birthday present. The correct implication is A. He thinks that the jumper is unusual. He then goes on to thank his sister without talking more about the jumper. Therefore, it can be implied that he doesn't like the jumper very much. Well done! Here's another exercise to enhance your deduction skill. Please listen to 4 speakers and match the sentences below with the speakers. There's one extra sentence.
Speaker 1.
If you take the time to listen carefully to the words of the best rappers, people like Eminem and Jay-Z, and some of the female rappers too, like Lil' Kim and Missy Elliott, then you'll realise how good they are. It isn't just poetry, it's fantastic poetry. In fact, I'd say that some of them are the best poems being written today. Seriously, that's my opinion. Now, a lot of people say that young people are no longer interested in great poetry, but that's wrong, isn't it? A lot of teenagers listen to rap music, and rap can be great poetry, even though some people don't look at it like that. So, I'd say that in some ways, poetry is more popular than ever among young people.
Speaker 2.
You know the poems I hate most? They're the ones you get in greetings cards. Birthday cards, Mother's Day cards, that kind of thing. I mean, a poem has to be original, doesn't it? To be a good poem, it has to come from the writer's heart and contain some real emotion. It has to be about why the poet loves a particular man or woman, or why the poet is feeling particularly sad. These poems in greetings cards are all the same. I hope your birthday is full of fun. You really are a wonderful son. That kind of rubbish. I suppose people actually have to spend time writing them. Imagine doing that job. It would be so depressing, wouldn't it? Writing rubbish every day.
Speaker 3.
We've been looking at some modern poetry at school, in our English classes. Some of it is okay, but to be honest, I'm not keen on most of it. I just don't get it. I mean, half of it doesn't even mean anything. Or at least, I can't work out what it means. It just seems like random words. Poetry didn't used to be like that. In the past, it was always clear what the meaning of the lines was, and usually it rhymed too. For me, that's what poetry should be like. That's the skill of the poet, isn't it? If you don't worry about meaning or rhyme, then you can just write anything and call it a poem. A leaf on a tree, the sun shines, water flows, life goes on. There, that's a poem. Huh.
Speaker 4.
Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And something heard, and something is the storm. Hang on, I can't remember the rest. But it's one of my favourites. It's by Emily Dickinson. I love her poems. In fact, most of the poems I like best are by women. I think women make better poets than men. But that's just my personal opinion, of course. I don't find it very easy to memorise poems. It takes me ages. But I enjoy doing it, and I really like having a few poems that I know from memory.
The correct statement for speaker 1 is C. She says that poetry is more popular than ever among young people. The correct statement for speaker 2 is A. He says that for a poem to be good, it has to come from the writer's heart and contain some real emotion, or in other words, the poet's feelings. The correct statement for speaker 3 is A. On the one hand, she says that she's not keen on most modern poetry. On the other hand, she says that for poetry in the past, it was always clear what the meaning of the lines was, and that's what poetry should be like to her. It can be implied that she believes poetry was better in previous eras. The correct statement for speaker 4 is B. She says that she thinks women make better poets than men, implying that men are not as good as women at writing poems. Excellent job! That's how you deal with implications. So the next time you listen to a poem or a conversation, don't take everything at face value. To know someone's true intentions, sometimes you got to read, or must I say, listen between the lines.